The Spire IR is Virtue's second budget paintball hopper, the first one being that original Spire IR, which was based on the original Spire. The Spire IR has been very, very successful for Virtue. They have sold loads of them, and they are still a really good hopper, but it was a little bit dated and due for a bit of a refresh. Before we start the review, I want to thank bfpgear.com for sponsoring this video. And right now you can see those prices are really good. So only for $119.95, that's $10 off the regular price, you're also getting a free spring ramp included. So whether you like that black one, maybe you like the tan, or you like my personal favorite, the FGG, that kind of greenish gray color, make sure bfpgear.com to get yourself a very good deal on the new Spire IR2. If you're familiar with the original Spire IR, it's kind of obvious that this Spire IR2 is different. So the original Spire IR used Virtue's back cap lid design. I was not a fan of these. They had some problems. One of the main issues was that they used these little tabs that would lock the lid in place, and sometimes these tabs would break off, the lid would fall off. It really wasn't the greatest design. So with the IR2, Virtue have kind of gone to the same design that they're using on their other hopper, the Bunkerkings CTRL. It's a very, very easy to take apart. You kind of just pop up this little tab on the back, and the loader sort of just comes apart. It's a very, very simple. When I first saw this like closure back style opening from Virtue with the control, I was a little bit nervous, right? Mainly because you're kind of applying some pressure and a little bit of leverage. I was kind of worried that maybe that like piece or hinge area would wear out over time, but we really haven't seen that. The control loaders have really held up very well, and we haven't really seen them coming apart. So I'd imagine on the new IR2 that this back closure compartment area is also going to be really secure, and we shouldn't see the thing coming loose ever. The original Spire and the Spire IR both also had Virtue's back strap on the bottom of the back of the loader. They kind of helped hold the buttons in place, but now on the Spire IR2 they've completely gone away with that design, and it's much more simple. The original Spire and the IR both had problems with this strap cracking, kind of falling off, and then the buttons wouldn't work. So switching that up and going to just a clean design on the back where the buttons stick through the actual shell, I am much more a fan of and really like this back design now. So even though they've gone and changed the shells quite a bit, the overall size of the loader is going to be identical to the original Spire IR. So it's the same size, and unfortunately I don't really have a lot of other hoppers here to compare the sizes to. So here's a Spire IR, because it's the same size, compared to some other hoppers. So you can see it's like typical, normal, average size. I mean, it's about the same size as the Spire 3, Spire 4, maybe a little bit lower in profile, maybe a little bit longer than the Dirotor LTR. So that top shell comes off quite a bit different, but taking out that bottom internal tray is still very, very similar to the IR. Really, it's the exact same way. So you just kind of unclip the tray and it sort of just comes out. It's extremely easy. Very easy to clean, makes it very easy to change batteries. Does take 3 AA batteries underneath in the front in the tray. So it's very, very similar in design to the original Spire IR. Has that drive cone which makes it feed extremely consistent, and then also jam very little, mainly because it's so simple in there, there's just really nothing to jam on. So they've also lightened up that drive cone. The original drive cone was a little bit heavier, had a little bit more material on it, but now on the IR2, taking off a bit of that material should help increase the rate of fire a little bit, just because there's less mass, so you have less mass to turn, so it should be a little bit more responsive, and then feed a little bit quicker. So this is a comparison between that high-end hopper, the Bunkerkings CTRL cone, and the Virtue Spire IR2 cone. So you can see right here that that control cone is just lighter weight, it's smaller. So that's one of the reasons that it kind of comes in that higher end hopper, and that higher end hopper is getting better performance because of that lighter style cone. It's just able to spin a little bit quicker. The Spire IR still uses infrared eyes to detect paintballs. So you can kind of see right here how I'm moving my finger in and out real quick, kind of simulating a paintball, and that drive cone speeds up and starts spinning really quick. So rather than using an accelerometer to detect movement of the hopper and the gun shooting like the Spire 3 or 4 do, the IR is just using infrared eyes, that old, true, tested design. Virtue's also released a lot of upgrades for the original Spire, and the Spire IR2 can use all of them still. So it can take the N-Charge battery, the battery that goes up front that replaces those 3 AA batteries, can also use the spring ramp that goes in front that will help feed a little bit more consistent, and then also takes the same speed feeds that you can find on the Spire 3, Spire 4, or the Bunker King control hopper. Right here, I'm putting on the Crown SF2. I like these ones. I'm a fan of these acrylic, harder fingers. Bunker King also offers the Enter speed feed that can also be used on the Spire IR2. It uses rubber fingers. I don't know, I just like the acrylic ones a little bit more. So the thing really should just keep on working. And they've kind of fixed all of the bad parts and all the like trouble spots that were on the original Spire IR. The IR2, just like all of the Virtue products, is built really, really well. I mean, these things kind of last forever, right? So the original Spire, I don't know, it's been out 10 years or something like that, and it's still out there. I mean, I know guys that are still using the big 280 sized ones, so they're still working fine. And really all this Spire IR2 is just like an upgraded version of that, right? I think that it's using better software, so it's feeding a little quicker. Definitely has that lighter drive cone. The shells are marketably better, we'll say. Shells are definitely better. So those improvements, I mean, the thing's just gonna keep working, right? I mean, they've pretty much fixed all the weak spots on the Spire IR with this Spire IR2. The Spire IR2 is the best hopper in paintball, almost, maybe, right? I mean, it's a very good hopper, has many of the features that you'd find in some of these higher end hoppers for about 20 to 30% less money. So if you're looking for a very, very good hopper, say under 150 bucks, Spire IR2, you really can't go wrong.